Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. And I forgot to plug in my mic. Hold on a second. All right, take two. Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. It's 20 minutes with Troy Trike, Sports Cards, prolific YouTuber, vlogger in the sports card space. And we were actually just joking, should I cut out the piece where my mic wasn't plugged in or keep it in? I'm actually going to keep parts of that in. So brand new mic. I got it. It's actually the same mic as Neo Cards and Comics, but he tricked me. He sent me a link and then I got this one and he's like, oh yeah, actually mine is the same one, but it's like the plus version, or it's like the, it's like the up. Like, you son of a, like I wanted like the mic that you've got, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyway. Let me guess. He sent you an Amazon affiliate link too.
He sure did.
He's getting a cut of that.
Yeah. He's like, I don't understand why people, don't like me anymore. And it's like, yeah, dude, because you got an affiliate link on everything, whatever, just like I do. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say you wouldn't know anything about sponsorships, but.
Yeah. Well, dude, so the first time I met you was at a Veriswap lunch at the National in Chicago the last time, not this Chicago. So that was what, 2 years ago, I think, is 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And since then, you've gone full bore. Actually, I think that you were full-time then too, though, if I remember correctly.
I think it was funny. I might have even been talking to you about it. That was like that trip. I was like, I'm leaving my job. Like, I can't do this anymore. But I was still technically full-time job then when we met.
Okay. And so now you've basically gone all in. The YouTube channel is doing really well. I feel like out of a lot of the vlog shows, there's two guys that I feel like have popped up on my feed when I just think of like, okay, show video and just kind of vloggy type stuff. And it's the King of Cards guy that just basically is like doing deals, and then he's got his camera set up. And then there's yours, but I feel like both of your channels really more so. I don't watch his as much, but for yours, I see yours all the time. It feels like it really kicked up over the last 2 years since I was with you that last time. How has it been being a full-time dealer, vlogger? Do you miss it? Do you say like, man, I need to go get my job back? Or are you like, this is it? Like, this is awesome.
You know what? It's funny you asked that. I don't know how emotional I'm going to get here in the first 4 minutes or how deep, but it is a funny balance. Like, so first off, yes, it's amazing. Super thankful. Like, this was always something, I wouldn't say always, but I did want to do this, and it's amazing, especially now. Like, I feel the card stuff is a grind and I enjoy that, but now I'm lucky. Like, I'm in the place where like the content is kind of taking over as more of the real job of it all. And for me personally, I love that. I love making content. So that's been really great. At the same time, once again, not to get too deep here in the first 4 minutes, but it is a weird transition. There are definitely a lot of times where I'm like, anyone who's an entrepreneur or does their own thing, like there's some negatives to it too. Like, the biggest thing for me, I was like, man, I wish I could just turn off. That's a big one. Like, I just never, you're always doing something. And obviously, like, my job's, I have a great job. It's not that hard. I don't want to make it seem, but it's like, I never fully turn off. And also for me, I'm doing it completely by myself. Like, some of these guys, it's nice. They have teams, even they have a full-time cameraman. It's literally just me. So the big example I've said is like, some of the best moments are like Friday afternoon in the office, and the whole group knows they're getting out of there. Maybe you have a beer, or you're going to have a beer. Like, those moments are like the peak, man. So I do miss some of that, but overall, yeah, it's great. I've had some great experiences. I literally just came back from the London card show. Like, that was my work. It's great, man. It's great. I can't complain.
Yeah, that is kind of nice. You can turn, those travel trips into business write-offs, and then you can do some fun things in there as well. Do I have it right that your girlfriend is your cameraman? Or like is part-time camera woman, I should say, part-time camera woman?
Yeah, a little bit. She films a lot of my videos for sure. But I would say it's like, I kind of randomly piece together who films. Like, sometimes I hire, like, it's all over the place. But yeah, she helps me out a lot. So for instance, she was helping me in London. And then the deal is like, all right, come to London, you help me film. Like, you do have to sit behind a table for like 8 hours or whatever, but then we went to Croatia afterwards for a week. So
nice.
it all kind of evens out, which is cool.
That's awesome. So do you like the buying and selling of cards more than the content part, or is that kind of a driver for the content? Do you like one over the other, or is it just the same? Like, you enjoy both of the things evenly?
I would say there's like 3 different buckets, right? It's kind of like, so I love cards and I love collecting cards. Like, I love that. buying, selling, and flipping, this might actually surprise a lot of people because I think my content is very like financial flipping focused. I don't enjoy it like a ton, especially because like I think some people really get a rush out of like the negotiation. Like, oh man, I
Yeah.
really worked them down and like I flipped it for 10. Like I do like that, and it's fun for me to do experiments, but it is, I don't know, it's kind of like being a hard negotiator is not something that really comes naturally to me. So I guess that was a long-winded way of saying I love cards, but I like making the content, I would say, a little bit more than like the flipping aspect of it. Like when I make those videos, I'm kind of like, I'm excited to see the video, not so much to flip on someone to make $50, you know?
I gotcha. Was it weird for you over this last weekend? We had the highest selling sports card ever was a basketball card, and it wasn't even a vintage basketball card. It was a modern basketball card. Being a ex-pro basketball player, was that like what did that mean to you? Did it mean anything to you? Obviously, we're not. Well, I can't speak for you, but I'm not buying $10 million cards. But does it affect you at all, or were you like, man, this is like, did it give you like a rush as far as like the industry that you're in? Like, man, there's like people making moves, and it's it's positive, or was it more like, meh, this is like just a freak sale?
No, for sure. I'll have my hot take on that. It seemed like everyone was like, here's my hot take. It doesn't mean anything. No, I'm going to be the one to say it. It's like, I don't even know. That's what everyone was saying that. I'm like, it's not a hot take. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like,
weird. You're tempering expectations again. You know, like I feel like that's the easiest take is to temper expectations. It always is.
Exactly. So no, I mean, obviously it's cool though. It made me really excited. And I've had a bunch, I'm sure you've had the same, like a lot of friends text me and family, and people say, oh, like this happened, or hearing about it, or Kevin O'Leary, like everyone loves Shark Tank. So I guess it hasn't directly affected me, obviously, in the sense that all my, I think a couple people have made the joke, but like, you're not going to make money on Zion Williamson now. Like it's still too late, but it does just show that the market's heating up. And I think any mainstream attention, especially as a content creator too, is great. So, I don't know. It's just cool to see. That's all I thought. I was like, I'm not going to read too much into this. Like, I don't think I'm not saying it's going to change my life, but I think it's cool. It's not a negative. How can it be a negative?
Right. I was looking down, I was scrolling because I was trying to see exactly what my mom had texted me. And I was trying to see if she texted it to me or if she sent me a message on Instagram, but it was something to the effect of like, I can't believe you lost this, I can't believe you didn't outbid these guys, it's funny. It is kind of interesting because it makes me think of, and a lot of people, I think, to 2021, when you see kind of like big money coming in or funds, if we're talking about like buying groups, but it feels different. And what I mean by buying groups is you had kind of fractional share companies that were coming in, they were buying and making huge purchases, and then they would sell fractions of it. But this is a little bit different how they're going to do it, or at least the way that they're saying that they're going to do it. I mean, Kevin O'Leary on an interview said something to the effect of like, he won't be alive whenever this like sells again. Like basically like they plan to put this in like a long-term, type fund to where the idea is that it just appreciates. You buy the very top of the food chain collectibles and and you just put it away and you forget about it. And over time, it just kind of does its thing as a store of value. And he compared it to the same way as if he was buying Bitcoin or if he was buying some other like, alternative investment vehicle. So I thought that was interesting because that goes against the typical thought is like you buy it and you flip it, or you think that you got it at a good, like you bought it undervalued maybe. I don't think they necessarily feel they bought it low. They probably just think that it's just got that much more room to grow. Is their thought. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of speaking for them, but that was what I took away from some of the interviews.
Yeah, it's and I'm not going to claim to be an economics expert here or anything either, but it just seems like really, really rich people too. Like it makes a lot of sense for them to take swings on things, and they're going to take a lot of swings, and they don't mind if they miss on a couple, right? So this might be one of a few different, obviously, alternative investments, but even like, here's another hot take. Like people are buying, like the Boston WNBA team just went for like a crate, like was it 600 million or was it 100 million? Regardless, it was a lot of money. And I think that's just kind of a bet on it might be a slight overpay at the time, but it's like, this is something I can invest in that could take off down the road. So I think it's, and it might be worth less. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Kevin O'Leary, someone like him, he has the watches and stuff. They're going to invest in a bunch of different things. And I think they obviously know, like, hey, this might go down a little bit. It might, but it also could turn into something big. So they're just down to take a swing.
Yeah, it's kind of like whoever bought that probably is thinking like Jerry Buss in the 70s when he bought the Lakers for like, what did he buy it for, like 60 million bucks or something like that, and then ended up selling for whatever 10 billion. That must be the thought. Like, hey, I just buy this, and then over time you believe in the brand and you believe that the WNBA just grows, or it's part of the NBA. It's all kind of growing together. So yeah, I think you're right though. I think that he did say something like, instead of buying, he compared it to contemporary art. Instead of buying like $50,000 pieces of art, you got to step up and buy a $40 million Pollock. Like that's where, you got to buy the tippity top of the food chain of collectible or whatever it is, watch or whatever he's into. And that's what they did essentially. So
exactly. Yeah. And when you're buying something that like people are like, oh, it's actually only worth more like 10 million. It's like, he doesn't care, like that's not the point of it. When you're talking about the tippy top, it's just get the best thing you can. And then if it's $1 million for some of these guys, it's a rounding error. They don't care. So it'll be fine.
Yep. So speaking of buying, so how are you in today's bull market, sports card world? Yeah. I was going to ask you, are you specifically specializing in one or two particular things? I remember you, if I remember correctly, you were into soccer cards or are into soccer cards.
Yep.
And I know that that's gotten a lot of attention, especially Messi stuff lately. Are you kind of specialized in it? Are you following trends? Are you doing some of both? Like, are you jumping on WNBA stuff and trying to resell? Because every year in sports cards, it feels like there's kind of hot prospecting things, and then the next year there might be something else. Do you dabble in that stuff, or do you just focus, hey, I'm zeroed in on this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am. So I'm big into soccer. I mean, that's definitely something I still do a lot of. But I would say I don't this might, people aren't going to like hearing this, but I kind of just buy what makes sense in the deal and what comes my way. I don't try to really specifically target too many things. I mean, there's a lot of things I like buying. Like, obviously, I love raw to grade with PSA. That's one of the big things I do. I'm not a huge high-end guy. I'm also not really a repack flipper type of guy. That's a whole different style of buying. That's probably a different podcast in itself. But yeah, I sell right now. I would say my three things I target are like, so raw to grade, a little more expensive cards, because I think you've even talked about it a little bit. Like, there's so many cheap like the cards you grade with PSA are shrinking a little bit. Maybe the cards that make sense. I'm doing a little bit of the whatnot. So there's a lot of cards that make sense for that. And then, just cards that make sense for eBay that are more like collector type cards. Like, that's the stuff I kind of do. It's just a different style of buying, but, yeah, in general, it's just what deals make sense. I mean, one thing I will say is I love the collection buys. Like, I know people have seen that on my YouTube channel. That is probably what I've been putting the most energy into, and the way I like to buy the best. And actually, to be honest, something I think I'm pretty good at. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not a great negotiator. Like, I know that about myself. Like, you mentioned like King of the Cards and some of these guys, like, they're good negotiators, and they're also really good at kind of being calm and flipping these high-end cards. Like, I'm not good at that. I get too nervous, or like I'm not good at doing the different things. But I think I am good at knowing where to sell things and also being patient on it, knowing what's a good whatnot card, what's a good ComC card, what's a good eBay card, what's a good eBay auction card. And I think so when I work with collections, I think I can do a good job at that.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So have you, for live selling versus eBay, this is something I wanted to ask you. Do you have more success, do you feel like, on the live selling front on whatnot or eBay? And I guess, do you enjoy one over the other? Because live selling, you're actually like, to me, I've never done it before. I would assume you have like an entertainment value. If you're on that platform, you have to kind of build up an audience there, which you have a good YouTube and a good following that you can probably transfer over to get buyers. The way I understand live selling, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like if you have a good following and you have people that are, consistent shows and stuff, and they know you're going to be there, then you can do really well. But sometimes you can just pop up, and if you're not doing it consistently, then there's no one in the room and it can suffer.
Yeah. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with live selling, because I kind of, just my personality, I kind of a little bit introverted, especially at times. So I kind of like eBay. It's just, I just ship it out. I can watch my show, listen to a podcast. It's just very chill versus live selling. Like you said, it's a show you got to be on and you're dealing with people like comment. It's a lot. I don't know which one has been better for me. I wish I need to put more thought into that data and figuring it out, but it's always the age old question of like on Whatnot, it's great because I take a $10 card and I can sell it for, let's say 15. And then but you can turn that over like 5 times before something sells on eBay. But also like that $10 card, sometimes I can sell it for as high as $30 on eBay. So it's like, ooh, which one of those is actually better though? So that's something I need to figure out, but it does also depend on the card. So I guess long answer short, I don't know which one is necessarily better, but both I'm finding some success with, just different times and different cards.
I'm sure you're always thinking about it, but do you have anything in your mind as far as expanding your business or adding to it? Or, every business person is always looking to grow or trying to figure out, if it's not necessarily growing, it's easier ways to make money, taking less time to make more. And those your mind is always spinning. Yep. Do you have anything like that that's popped up in 2025 that you've been able to implement, or just things that maybe are on like a bucket list of like, I want to try this maybe going into 2026 when I have more time?
Yeah. I mean, the content is the easiest scalable thing. So that's why I've been putting most of my attention into that in 2025 and kind of like having like, I have, people who help me edit and stuff, something I might be worth bringing in someone like full time or, at least having a cameraman who can stick with me and handle some things. But yeah, I guess that's the content in the cards is just to scale it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like the cards, definitely. Like even the content, to be honest, I'm kind of tapped out in terms of what I can do just by myself. So I think maybe the content, I feel like I have a solid system at this point where I can kind of handle it. But I think the cards, I would love to kind of like not outsource it, but just get some other people involved, like with the Whatnot. It's very like getting a shipper for Whatnot. Like that's something I need to do. That's going to make me money. Spending that money is going to actually make me money. So those are the kind of the things I'm thinking about, but I haven't necessarily put into action yet.
Yeah. Does it make sense at some point to have, and I guess it depends on how big you kind of want it to be in the freedom and all that sort of stuff, but having almost like salespeople working with you, like almost like another person that's out there, like looking to buy or, or you mentioned kind of like the whole repack buying thing. That's not really your thing, but maybe you have a guy that does that or a gal or whatever. For me, and I always think like, man, I like the fact that I'm a one-man show and I control everything. And that's probably the limitations to what I do. It's because there's only so much that one person could do. But what is your thoughts there? Do you kind of like how your business is to where it's like you and you kind of outsource some things like you do, or like scaling up to where you have 10 employees or something and managing that? Is that something that sounds fun and enjoyable, or is it kind of like, I just kind of like the way I'm doing it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a tough balance. So I think when I think about like having employees and stuff like that, like I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. Or like, having a card shop. That's a lot of people. That's not something I've like really thought. Like I'm realistically, I'm not going to do that. But I think it's crossed the mind of everyone kind of in this space. I'm like, wow, that'd be cool. But like, I'm like, dude, that'd be stressful. Like even just, I mean, the card shop speaks for itself. That's stressful because you got to go in, you got to open up. Where are my employees? Who's sick? Blah, blah, blah. But not even just that, just even having employees on your payroll as a media company. It's like, that's different. You can't just like, because now sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to do a video for 2 weeks. Like, I'm just not going to do it. That's the good thing about being a one-man band. But when you have people who are relying on you and you're paying their salary and stuff like that, then it's funny. Even now, as I was going to a card show the other day, and maybe people won't want to hear this, but this is the truth. And I had stuff going. It just wasn't. I love cards. This just wasn't a good Troy day. And I was, at the. I was at. Troy day. I like that. I was at the. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth at like 7 a.m. I was like, man, I don't want to go to this show today. And I was like, wait a minute, is this a job? Like it was, that feeling that everyone's had. Like you're early. It was the same thing when I was doing sales. I'm like, I don't want to go into work today. I was like, wait, is this a job? Yeah. So yeah, as you scale it and stuff happens, I'm wary of that because I really like what I'm doing now, and I like having that freedom. But also on the other side of the coin, as I have outsource certain things, it's actually given me more time back in my pocket and now allowed me to grow and more success and better financially. So yeah, that's something I'm struggling with, of finding the balance, and also like, what do I really want down the road?
Now, how was your national show, and what were your goals? You know, when you went there, was it, I'm going to go in and it's going to be a great buying opportunity. I'll go to trade nights and I'll buy a lot. Maybe I can get some good deals. Was it networking? Was it meeting with companies? Maybe it was all of the above, but was there a specific focus? And then of course, making content there, but you know, how did it go for you? I know it was nuts for both of us, but how did it go? And did it kind of meet what you were looking to do?
Yeah, I think it would have been better for me if I actually did have goals. I mean, I did, but I wanted to do all the above. Like you said, I was like, I'm going to do everything. Like, I'm going to literally from dollar boxing at the national to, like, you know, a high level networking type of things. And then it just became really tough because I was also set up at the SoCo Expo. I'm not sure if you heard of that, but they had a soccer specific show.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 30 minutes away. So the days were just crazy. And I think I burnt myself out in the first 2 days because it was like, all right, I need to be the first one in the show so I can do good buying and buy everything, try to buy things before it gets all rifled through. Then I have to shoot some content. And then I also have to meet with some people. And then I'm going to go back to SoCo because I got to set up and buy and sell, and then also film some content there. And then I have a meeting afterwards. So I think, I don't know. Me and my friends were talking about it. Like, something has to break because trying to do everything it's not a good formula. So like on the Saturday night of the SoCo, I just kind of left. I was like, I'm burnt. Like I'm packing it in. It's time to go home. But it was good. It was good. It was a good national. It was very productive. That's for sure. It was always great to meet people. And I think probably actually now that I'm thinking about it, my favorite part was, as you mentioned, like the channel has grown a lot in like the past year and a half since we met. Like all the people who came up and to really feel that love, and people to tell me like, hey, I really appreciated this, or, you know, your videos taught me how to do eBay, and I'm actually making a pretty good income with it now. Like that was probably my favorite part. That was awesome. Just meeting people and being around it. But also on the other end, like I burned the candle at both ends for sure.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of my old buddy Brad, the comeback card investor. I don't know if you met him before he retired from cards. I feel like we were on a show together, all three of us.
Yeah,
I think we did do a show once, and this is going back years.
Mm-hmm.
But what he attempted to do on that channel was break down his buys, sells, he's grading and everything. Mm-hmm. And to me, you're kind of like a similar version to that, except you're traveling around, you're doing it a lot more efficiently, frankly. Sorry, Brad. But
he's not watching. It's okay.
Yeah, he's not watching.
He hasn't watched card content in 5 years.
He's retired. Yeah. I text him every once in a while just to make sure he's alive. He's still going strong out there in LA, but yeah, I feel like you kind of took that and ran with it and just did a really good job with it. So we'll wrap on that note. This is the first episode with Trike. We'll do this every 30, 45 days just to check in. Trike Troy is going to be my boots on the ground for all of the, show stuff. I think this is going to be fun to just kind of catch up more often than, I haven't been able to catch up with you really much. We're all so busy. So this show allows me to do that, and I'm excited about it. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to, buy something from you or sell to you? Is Instagram the best way? Do you have email that's best?
Ooh, buying and selling email would probably be best. It can get lost in the shuffle in IG DMs. My email is it's in the description of all my YouTube videos. So if you guys have something specific, that's probably the best way to reach me.
All right. And in case you haven't found Trike yet, I'll put a picture up. It'll be up here in a second, but of his YouTube channel so that you can find it. Troy, thanks again, buddy, for coming on. 25 minutes flew right by. I'm glad I got the mic working after that little snafu in the beginning. And we'll see you again next time.
Yeah, can't wait. Next time we'll do some good market talk and everything too. I think it'll be fun.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later.
Bye.